It's another episode. It's another episode. It's another episode. It's another episode. So in this episode, I really wanted to take the time and explain my perspective on living abroad and not in the United States. Because the United States has been super crazy this past year, with coronavirus, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Elijah McCain, the elections, just so much stuff is going on. And, living and looking from the outside in gives you a new perspective on the United States, and just compared to places like Europe, of which I've had the opportunity to travel several countries. The United States, we could learn a few things. I am a citizen of the world. Let's talk a little bit about my story. So I've been living in Germany now for the past 2 years, even though I know it seems like I've been here in the United States because technology is so amazing. I can post videos, post on social media, talk to my friends, use video call, and nobody would know. But anyways, it's been wonderful living here in Germany. I am working here and I plan to come home, but honestly, traveling so many countries has gotten me thinking about, what would it be like to live somewhere else? More specifically, I had the chance to visit Amsterdam last week, which is super, super, super amazing. I'm going to share all my pictures with you guys, as you can see here. The people there were just so, 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 so nice. And just relax, lay back. And I don't think it's just because they were smoking weed. Not everyone there smokes weed, by the way. It's just like a myth. But anyways, I just felt like the vibes there were just so chill vibes, positive vibes. When I was there, actually, we did a bunch of things. We went to the Heineken Museum. We had the chance to do a canal tour, just a bunch of stuff. But most importantly, what I remember is biking all over the city and meeting people who were super, super humble and super, super dope. I have friends who are expats in United Arab Emirates, some people in Thailand, some people who decide to move to the Caribbean or South America. And then some people obviously who move back to Africa, who go to Ghana or decide to live in Nigeria or South Africa. I know people from all corners of the world. And there's more to life than just living in America. I think at one point it used to be kind of considered the holy grail, but I think now people are waking up to see that the world in general has a lot to offer, especially with travel and everything that's been going on. Why would I want to cross all that water just to be called a nigger? Some of the pros, obviously, in a lot of these countries, the benefits are so lit. One reason when I understood that, the benefits in these other countries is dope is because, even just from becoming pregnant and not having to worry about how you're going to get money, what are you going to do about your job, having paid maternity leave for you and your spouse, those things really, really matter. And the fact that the government takes care of it for not just a few weeks or a few months, some of them for a whole freaking year, and you can just be at home raising your baby, which I think is amazing. Other things are free education, quality healthcare that's also typically subsidized or free in some regard, even if it means ER visits. I remember going to London and, my son got sick and we went to the hospital because he was running a fever. And I was like, shit, am I going to have to pay $1,000 like I would in the US for one ER visit? And it was completely free. They did a full workup and it was free. And I know because I'm a physician, so I know they did a full workup and it was totally legit and it was totally free. We walked in and we'll walk back out. So just stuff like that is super crazy. Another thing that I've noticed is just the quality of the air. But no, seriously, the quality of the food is a lot better. I feel like, in America, things are heavily processed. We're a capitalistic country trying to really push mass manufacturing. And this is not to say that other advanced nations in Europe don't have to deal with processed foods, because they do. However, there are a lot of healthy food options. There's a lot more produce, fruits, vegetables readily available. There's not really a lot of food deserts. I felt like every corner I went, there was always a grocery store. Granted, it's not a capitalistic society where things are always open all the time. That was one thing I did miss. But in any major city in Europe, best believe you have access to quality food. So one thing I did want to talk about is some of the cons that come with trying to uproot your entire life and move somewhere else. So it's not going to be necessarily easy. There's a lot of things you have to consider, like language barrier, so, in a lot of major cities in Europe, a lot of people speak English, but in some of them, i.e. Paris, they're kind of like, we don't necessarily need to speak English. In Germany, there's some people who do, but it's not necessarily super, super common, like some places such as Amsterdam or London, obviously. So back to the cons though. So I talked about kind of uprooting your whole life. Another thing to consider is, you got to get them papers. You got to get the documentation. So what is it going to be like to get a equivalent of a green card to get your citizenship? What do you have to do? Do you have to learn the language? Do you have to live there? And how long will you need to be on a work visa or some sort of visa before you can progress to a full-blown citizen? Will you have to denounce your U.S. citizenship? There's a lot of things to consider when you're trying to live in another country, because different laws are going to apply to every single different country. Some of them want you to kind of really claim your loyalty to that country. They don't want you to just kind of come over there, think that you can just be a citizen and still go back to the United States whenever you want, even though you're reaping the benefits from that country. So that's definitely one big thing to think about. You do not have to stay where you are not wanted forever. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is this whole Back to Africa Year of Return movement, which happened last year. And a lot of people were really looking forward to it again this year. But of course, coronavirus, so boom, didn't get to happen. But bottom line is, Ghana is really leading the way in connecting the diaspora and wanting people who are African American or people who are just wanting to come back to Africa to come, and welcoming them and providing them, easy routes to citizenship, easy routes to obtaining land, and just positive vibes. And I really, really just admire everything that they're doing. Being born here in America doesn't make you American. The Black narrative is all over the globe. It's just not in America. And when you live abroad, it gives your purpose, it gives your worldly purpose a new meaning. And I really, really encourage you that if you haven't had the opportunity to travel, make sure that you do. There's a lot of easy, cheap ways to travel, even if it's just going outside your state, if you haven't done that yet. And I also think that, going back to Africa is so important. It's so vital to really kind of knowing or feeling or sensing a place where everyone is Black, everyone is African, and you don't have to compare or question. You can just have pride and love in your heart for one another. So that is this episode of Diaspora Diary. Man, I'm tired, but I'm glad you guys stuck with me and you watched. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.